We begin in Campbell River, where protesters put on quite a show today, making a big stink over the aquaculture industry. They donned protective gear, including makeshift hazmat suits, and then carried containers of fish farm waste around the city, trying to deliver it to fish farming companies. They say the waste is a toxic brew of fish excrement and unconsumed fish feed lying on the ocean floor. As A News reporter Gord Kurbis shows us tonight, the deliveries were all rejected.
Donning makeshift biohazard suits, complete with masks and protective gloves, protesters are showing off what they've collected from under a BC coastal fish farm.
We did a lot of sampling with the grabber, and we never found anything black naturally, no black waste, definitely nothing that's stinky.
Inside these containers is a mixture the protesters are referring to as a toxic sludge. It's waste product they say is polluting the environment and found only under open net farms.
Well, the real obvious dangers is just smothered everything with as much as 2 feet of fish waste. So any clams, anything that was living on the bottom is simply physically smothered, let alone the pollution factor of it.
Guarded by pirates, they say they want to return the sludge to the head offices of the companies responsible for putting it there. But there were no takers at Marine Harvest or Mainstream Canada willing to accept the hand-delivered message.
They don't want it. We don't want it. What is it doing here? What does this tell us? It tells us they don't want to look at what they're dumping on our seafloor. They're the only farmers in the world, in Canada, that do not shovel their manure, and here it is.
But the BC Salmon Farmers Association says the fish droppings are nothing to worry about.
Really what you're talking about is fish feces, which is an organic compound, which is actually part of the food chain. So we remediate the farms, we fallow them between production cycles, and manage the farms responsibly.
The association says potential farm sites are measured for benthic levels before the farms begin operation. They're then tightly monitored from then on.
We sample throughout the fish's cycle. So we sample pre-production, so before the fish go into the water, and then we sample throughout the life cycle of the fish, including at peak production when you have the most fish in the ocean at the largest size.
The association says after the fish are harvested, the site doesn't get restocked until it's verified those benthic levels have returned to their pre-fish farm state.
It's very, very carefully controlled, tightly monitored, very stringent requirements, and all of that data is available through the Department of Fisheries and Oceans.
Unable to get anyone from the industry to accept their offerings, the protesters did leave samples behind and vowed to continue their efforts to shut the farms down.
It's an abomination, and the reason salmon farming exists in Canada is because nobody sees this, and that's why we brought it here. It makes me very angry.
The protesters concluded their Campbell River visit with a stop at the campaign office for Conservative MP John Duncan. No one in his office wanted the deposits either. But the protesters say they got their message across. In Campbell River, Gord Kurbis, A News.